I just really want to know what it feels like to just be like stable and grounded for a little bit. People don't come to the theater to see you. They come to see themselves. I cannot wait to be in love and share life and fries with someone.
Hello and welcome back to the Alex Witherow Show. Today we have a very special guest, someone who is very well known in the artistic community in Miami and is now between Miami and New York. Josephine Phoenix, multi-hyphenated artist. What the hell does that mean?
Hello, everybody.
Oh my gosh, we're off with a bang.
Well, I love that word bang. I'm like performing artist octopus.
Performing artist octopus.
Isn't that even better than multi-hyphenated?
Yeah, that's like, so tell me all 8 tentacles.
Right? Well, I am a singer-songwriter,
Okay.
and I play guitar, clarinet, and box, which is called cajon in Spanish.
The cajon.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
And then I am a theater actress,
Okay.
A writer, and, you know, just a performing bohemian artist here, just living life and trying to leave people better than how I found them.
Okay, cool. Now, you've done a little reality TV too, right?
Oh, yeah. I did a reality TV show back in 2016, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was, I've seen that it was unique to Miami, right?
My life is a telenovela, which is not only true to my actual life, but that was the name of the show.
Okay.
And telenovelas are the Spanish soap operas where there's a lot of women who get slapped and they are pregnant and they don't know who the father is. And then there's a lot of villains and women putting cars on fire. But
You sound perfect for this.
I know, right? It was great. It was a bunch of very well-known women in the Spanish industry, but it was in English.
Okay.
And I was the unknown, right? I was the, my parents are Cuban, Spaniard, and Lebanese. So I'm like hummus, black beans, and paella when I sweat.
Hummus, black beans, and paella.
I smell really nice when I'm dirty. And so since I'm so culturally entertaining, but I was also the only one born in America. So I was the only one that did not have an accent.
Okay.
So, you know, they had a lot more, you know what Miami is. There was like probably 20% more plastic on them than even Barbie.
Right.
And so I was the only one that was petite in nature. And
Right.
so there was
au natural.
Yeah. So there was a nice contrast between that world of soap opera stars and these gorgeous, voluptuous women, and then me.
Well, I'll just say, like, your personality is worth like 5, big asses and, whatever.
Oh, why, thank you. I love it.
Let me ask you about this, because this is a world that people don't typically understand very well. I mean, the first thing I have to wonder is, the producers are like kings on that show. And,
Sure.
And how much are they dictating what you got to do?
Oh, it was absolutely called suggestive reality.
Okay.
We were on WeTV, which is the same brand that had the Toni Braxton family and a couple of other shows in that same sort of genre. And so it's like, basically there'll be a scene and they'll be like, this is what's going to happen. These are the bullet points that we'd like to cover. And sometimes they would literally write on a cardboard, like Saturday Night Live or like old time television, and post behind you, like, we want you to say this. And it'd be like words like abortion, rape, kill,
oh my gosh.
real like questions. And I was a little rebellious. I was just like, I'm not saying that because I am a Cancer. I am a water sign. I am nurturing and flowing and actually quite real. And so I
Did you say that on set?
well, many times, but I found a lot of real friendships in the moment.
Yeah, well, good for you.
And I wasn't going to say these things that would make these other women feel maybe uncomfortable or strange. But yes, they were really much pushing what you should be doing and saying.
Now, I've heard, from different shows. I know, like, on some Bravo shows or the Bachelor franchise, there's a lot of wine sitting around. They encourage everyone to get, lubricated. I mean, was that
what kind of lubrication are we talking about? Can we just like shift the conversation? No, we definitely were pampered, and there were a lot of luxurious moments where you're at some high-end Miami Beach restaurant and everything is on the production, right? Whatever you drink, whatever you eat, you have nothing to worry about. And so, I'm a babysitting drinker. Like I order the second drink and I can't finish it, and I usually don't like to drink unless I'm going to get naked and,
Hey-o.
have like a consensual baby making session.
Hey-o.
I don't, if someone's not going to look at my tits, why am I drunk?
I mean, you said it. Well, that's definitely going to be a short up on YouTube. that little
Why drink if someone's not going to be looking at my tits? And or I have to plan, I'm going to show my tits to X person before I leave.
Right. Yeah. So I guess now, if you said you were rebelling against the producers, I mean,
sure.
I mean, what was happening? Obviously, they didn't like you after that.
Well, producers are like the best sort of, I wouldn't say manipulators, but they know how to play the game.
Right.
So they'll never let you know that they don't like you. They just keep trying to drive the ship to their sort of goal, right?
Totally get it.
But yeah, there's a pretty infamous story that I tend to touch upon a lot because being Latina in many other ways, even though I am also Arab and Spaniard, there is a sort of expectation of how we're supposed to look, especially in Miami and especially now in the year 2025. And so, I mean, people ask me all the time, like, where'd you get your nose done? Or where'd you get your lips done? I was like, if I had
That's
money,
rude.
but if I had that kind of money, first of all, I'd invest in shampoo. All right. I need to wash this. This is a lot of money. But I don't have any plastic surgery, and not that I have anything against it. It's just not my ethos.
Right.
And so I remember the main sort of showrunner asking me if you would like to get a breast augmentation, and we can do a whole storyline of before the New Yorker theater actress and after the voluptuous Miami soap opera star.
Interesting.
And then I was like, can I get a rain check on that? Because after my kids suck the life out of my breasts, then can I get my tit job?
Right.
But regardless of the fact, they were trying to implement that storyline, and I wasn't interested. I was like, I'm not really interested in that sort of plastic surgery at the moment.
Right.
I mean, I was, I think, 31 at 32, and they said, "Come on, Joe, you don't look in the mirror and wish you looked more Latina." And I said, "Lord of my soul, I am actually Latina, and I think I look Latina. My mangoes are ripe for the picking." And
that's so rude.
And it's also like just what the cliche of what we're supposed to look like.
Right.
And, human beings and Latinos, no matter what your ethnicity or your culture, you're just human. And you can look like anything. There's redhead Latinas and blue-eyed Latinas and flat-chested Latinas and voluptuous Latinas, and we are who we are. So, but it's hard, as a woman, you want to feel like, I mean, I have walked into many places, and when I tell them that I'm Cuban, they're like, where? And I was like,
rude.
I am Cuban in my movement, not in my size. In Spanish, it sounds much more eloquent.
Yes,
Ready?
I'm sure.
You ready?
Yeah.
Cubana mi movimiento, no en el tamaño.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I love it
5
when people
stars.
applaud me. But yeah, I stand my ground, and it is who I am, and I think life is about authenticity, and that's who I am.
Totally, and I think we talked with the guy who played Mufasa from Lion King a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
cool.
and he touched on this as well, that there's so many. The industry really tries to push you towards the most base type roles and what they think will sell.
Sure. Yeah. And what is the word when there's an expectation of you? Like not a stereotype. Stereotypes are true though. These people do exist in the world, right? They do talk like that. They do look like that. But that's just not a generalization of all of us. So
Right. And so I guess how long were you on set with this TV show, the reality show?
Thank the gods, one season.
Thank
the gods.
And they're like, get rid of this annoying Latina.
No, not. Well, thank you. Annoying is actually a compliment because that means I'm unforgettable.
Right.
It was only one season in its entirety.
Okay, so
not just me, but the show in and of
shut
itself.
It down. Okay, gotcha. And this was a Miami-centric show?
Yes.
Interesting. You
can still watch it on WeTV and on YouTube. So
Yeah. There's a lot of discussion about how they edit things. I mean, I think the reality TV editors are the best liars on this planet.
Sure.
I mean, what they do with footage is like unbelievable.
Yeah, they know how to construct the point of view that they're going for.
It is so wild.
Yeah.
So did you find when you watched back this season, you're like, WTF, bro? Like, it wasn't like this.
Actually, no.
Really?
There were many times that we'd come into a scenario and things would happen and we weren't expecting it at all. But that's because some of the people in the reality, some of the actors would have a meeting with the producer, and the producer would like, listen, no one's going to know, but if you threw a plate react at this time, then everyone's going to react really authentically. And so those little secret conversations were happening behind the scenes. But no, there was never anything, and I'm not sure what anybody else would say in terms of the cast, but what you saw was what happened. There were a couple of things that were not sort of planned. There was the last episode of My Life as a Telenovela. There is this whole montage of this woman who is pushing people in the pool. Mics, telephones, heels, everything on, and she just pushed her. And no one told her to do that. It was really just the frustration and just the way things go in reality shows. And,
and these producers, they push you.
And we were all very shocked that happened. We started all walking away because we didn't want to get pushed in the pool either. And it could be hazardous. I mean, you have microphones, you have heels, like things could happen.
No, that's like really dangerous.
And we were all just like quiet, and it's all on camera, and you could tell. And I think it's very evident, like that was real.
No, of course. And like if I'm a producer, that's like the stuff I'm going for. I mean, I want to see some crazy stuff.
There was some crazy
stuff.
And
like I think to your point, they're very good at. I mean, I'm not like a huge. I got dragged into watching the Bachelor franchise a few times just because.
Have you ever tried out?
No, I'm too old now.
I don't know. I think you'd be a great contender.
No, I've heard that about like 80 times in my life.
Really?
Yes.
If you've heard that so much, the universe is speaking through people. I'm telling you.
I mean, I've heard that like a million times.
You should listen.
It's starting from like age 24. People are
I
like,
still think you should listen.
I think I'm a little old now, but
I think you're ripe for the picking, like my mangoes.
That's very ripe. No, but when I watched that show, and I've gotten dragged into that show just because of girlfriends I've had in the past who love that show, and for me, it's interesting because I can see what's going on with the producers when I watch it. And I think to myself, these guys are sinister. Like they are so bad.
They really are.
And, these kids are trying to find love. They're young. And I think a lot of them, they always talk about coming for the right reasons,
Sure.
And I think a lot of them do really try to find love on this show, and yet these producers just keep throwing hot women after hot women at this guy who's like seemingly in love with this one girl, and they say it in the name of, well, we just want to test your love. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Entertainment, the business of entertainment.
Totally.
I've actually never seen any of those episodes of The Bachelor or Bachelorette or anything like that. I haven't been sucked in yet. But yeah, it is. I
mean, you see one season, you've seen them all, but
sure.
I mean, it's crazy how they mess with people in that world. And I think if you're going to be, what's funny is because you watch these hosts and they all seem very likable, and I'm like, I don't believe any of this. Like, you guys are in on this.
You can't trust any of the producers in that sort of genre because they all have a goal in mind, and that's their priority.
And do they kind of do good cop, bad cop with you?
If they're nice to you, you're just always you have to be suspicious. And then you start talking to your other castmates, and what they told them was what not they told. It was just like, no.
Yeah.
So.
Did you walk away from that experience, the telenovela show, with friends from the cast?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of respect and admiration because anyone who's in this industry, no matter what your opinion is of their talent, they're hard workers.
Right.
They got to get up. They have to be committed and dedicated, communicative. They have to show up and do the work.
Yep.
And so no matter what you think of where they are as a singer or an actor or whatever they're doing in this world, they're dedicated hard workers. And there is a lot of respect and admiration for castmates. I didn't walk away with any friendships that I'm talking to every day, but there are a couple of people that I'm like, if I see them on the street, there's huge hugs and kisses and how are you? And there's small social media catch-ups. But no, I also was the youngest. So there was like a 20-year gap in there.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you when you did this?
I was 30. So
everyone else is 50?
They were like in their 40s, like mid to late 40s for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice by the producers.
Well, it is what it is. These people were quite successful in their career, and I was a newbie, and they've been around for a long time, and they all started really young. They were all known and famous in their late teens and early 20s. So.
Oh, interesting. So were these like people that were well known in South Florida?
Huge. No, in all of South America.
In South America.
South American, anyone that was Spanish and Latino in America. Very, very well known.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Do you feel like, I know you're an actress now and you've been for a long time. A lot of times actors are weird about reality TV. They say, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get pigeonholed as a reality actor. I want to, focus on the craft and do serious work. do you feel like reality TV launched anything for you? Did it raise your...
Reality TV can lick my left hairy nipple. No, not at all. Zero. 0% on all fronts.
Yeah.
I was mostly a singer-songwriter during that era of my life. And so I even like released a single during the season premiere and all that. And it launched some fans. It didn't get a lot of traction, which is why there wasn't a second season.
Right.
And I'm totally okay with that. It didn't. It really helped me out. I want to say, what was it? Close to 30 grand in 3 months. And it didn't feel like work. You know, we'd show up.
30 grand in 3 months?
It was something like that. Wow. We worked about 3 months, and I worked not every single day. You know, I
always forget that reality pays really well.
It does. It pays really well, and there's not the hours are long, but it isn't every single day. Especially, I wasn't a main character, so it was nice. It was nice to get that money, and I kind of lived the year off those 3 months. But no, it did not launch a single thing for me, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of younger actors would think, oh, if I just do this little Bachelor thing or this Bravo thing, that it's going to launch my acting career.
No, you take the experience, you make authentic relationships and friends, and then you learn on a personal scale how not to make people feel the way you probably felt during that. right? Like I always want to, like I was saying, I always want to leave people better than how I found them. I never want someone to feel they're unheard or unseen, or there's doubts of their talent, of who they are. You know, I think life is hard, man. Like a nice big penis. Life is hard. And so our little droplets in the people we meet and the experiences we have are so important. And for me, it was just about, you know, I saw how certain producers made other actors feel, and there was a lot of crying and confusion and betrayal because you thought someone was your friend, and then a producer talked them up and they did something against you, and they said something off camera bad about you. And I was
so
just
this is like the Shark Tank, totally.
Yeah, but it was a great lesson in terms of how to handle yourselves in this industry, and just be as genuine and trust the process, and just be a good person as much as you can.
Yeah, and that's tough to handle when you're like in your late 20s, early 30s. I mean, you're still kind of young at that age, and you're thrown into this reality show with people that are quite a bit older than you. Yeah,
well, look, I mean, I was being judged for not being voluptuous or pretty or
and you're being
Latina
pressured to get a tip job. I mean,
I know, but anyone else could have been like, you know what, I don't look the part. I don't look like my culture. And I want to be famous, and I want to have stability, economic stability through my art. Yeah. And maybe this is a door, but I was like, you know, and...
Yeah, I always say this, that the industry, you have to really have an understanding of who you are and what you do as a performer. Yeah. Because if you don't have an idea, the industry will tell you what you're going to do, and usually it revolves around something gross like that.
Yeah, my mom was a Las Vegas showgirl.
Awesome.
And my mom was a dancer. I mean, she's still with us, and she's still dancing to this day with the Miami Heat. They have a senior citizens dance troupe called the Golden Oldies, and my mother's still a dancer. But female dance culture is so catty and so intimidating and so sort of like no girl is your friend. And I remember growing up and going to auditions, and I'm a chatty Kathy.
I couldn't
Could you tell? Oh my God. And so she's like, stop talking to women. They are not your friend. They're trying to take your role. They're trying to take your energy from you. And I always thought that was so sad, because I'm all about community and people and cheerleading. Yeah. And so I remember during this experience, my mom was like, this is not going to be a good one. And I saw that when the show aired, these women that I thought were my friends were like, oh, she was intimidated by me. And that's why she acted like that. I'm like, why are we talking bad about people? What is this? Yeah. But female, especially I think Latino, but like dance and beauty culture is so competitive and so non-nurturing, and that's just not my bag, bro. So I'm kind of more like my father. So thank God I look like my mother and act like my father, because I would have looked like my father and act like my mother. I don't know. Well, I'd be like, I don't know, masturbating horses in Kentucky. That would be my job. I would be
an accountant.
Math, you know, and then I can afford the shampoo finally.
Finally. All right, so Joe, you have recently gone up to New York City, and I know you've been back and forth between New York and Miami much of your life. I
am a hybrid New Yorker, Brooklynite, Miamian for the entirety. I went to 5 high schools, and they were split up 2.5 and 2.5 between New York and Miami. So yeah, hybrid.
Okay. Which do you prefer? I know both are very different places.
They're very different places. I always say from the waist up is New York and the waist down is Miami.
Okay. Interesting.
There's a lot of this this on the bottom when you're in Miami, and the dancing and the heat.
Right.
And then there's a lot of thinking and forward motion and like with your lungs doing life in New York.
New York, in my opinion, is... Someone asked me the other day, are you able to get as much done in Miami as you did in New York? And I said, there's like literally impossible to get as much done in New York compared to anywhere else, because the energy there is so just proactive, ambitious.
It's infectious.
It's
really
crazy.
Is.
I mean, I'm naturally a pretty self-motivated person. When I was there, I was like insane. I wrote a book in 2 months. I wrote like 3 screenplays in like another 5 months. I mean, it was wild. Here, I feel like I'm on vacation all the time. Yeah. So it's a little harder to get super motivated artistically.
I think there's also, I've been seeing and reading about all this metaphysical things about there are certain blood types or energetic souls that, depending on where you were born, certain cities call to you and are more conducive to the way you operate in life. Like, it's really incredible. That has nothing to do with how you see life. It's how like you were built. I want to look more into it to be able to like talk about it in a much more educational way than this strange commentary.
Like, I know that I think there's some truth to that. I mean, I think that if I grew up near the ocean in California. In pretty temperate climate, very Mediterranean climate. So like being here, being back in the sun and warmth feels great to me.
Well, it's environmental, right? That was programmed into you.
And like the winters in New York, I love it. I was there for 7.5 years, and I hated winter there.
I love it. I love Earth doing its thing.
It does its thing, all right.
I love the scarves and the boots and the layers. I've the little icicles building on my Mediterranean mustache. I really do. I adore winter. It makes me more creative, more introspective. And I just love the versatility of life, where in winter you're a homebody, and the things you eat are different than in the summer. And then in the summer and spring, you're out.
Right. In the winter, I just like drank whiskey and ate wings. Like that's all I did all winter. I got like super fat in winter. Whereas I noticed in Miami, like you have no desire to eat wings and drink beer ever. It's like, where's my next smoothie coming from?
I get that.
And also something I've noticed, this town will fat shame you like nobody's business.
Really?
Something I've learned about Latino culture. They have no problem telling you if you're gorda or gordo. You know? I mean, when I first moved here, I dropped like 15 pounds in a matter of months.
Dude, I think in the Colombian culture, even if you are skinny, they still call you out of love gordo. Gordis, gorda. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, this town definitely fat shames you, and like
depends in the pockets. Miami has become such a transient sort of place where the majority of Miami aren't natives anymore, right? Like Brickell, Wynwood, but if you go in past Coral Gables, right? It's kind of like a little meat on your body is actually preferred. They don't want a little skeleton girl.
No, of course.
So it really just depends on the pockets of Miami you're in.
But I wasn't
understand.
like nicely allocated. I was like a little chubby though. I mean, it did me some good to be fat shamed a little.
I gained about 10 pounds when I used to live in Italy, and I felt like I was finally Cuban because I was like a block and a butt. I was like, all right, there she is. I'm actually Cuban.
Nice. So talk to me about New York. New York is it's the big leagues. I mean, like you go into the audition offices on Broadway, and it's like dang, this is it.
I know. I don't know how to even start with my romance with New York. Lady Gaga has this really funny saying where when you are dating someone, right, you can wake up the next day and they'll tell you they don't love you anymore. But New York will never say they don't love you anymore. It's really interesting.
There's something you just touched on, something really interesting about energetically, New York, it feels like a living organism.
Sure.
Totally. And
it is a character in all of our stories.
It is a living entity in your life when you're there.
That's a beautiful way of saying it.
It's so true. And I remember when I was there, it felt like a girlfriend who was just passionate, and it felt like I was dating someone who on some days I was like, you bitch, like stop doing this. New York, I mean, like there's days where New York just clubs you, and really tests you, and just is like, are you really going to do this? Are you here for this? Because this is like the big leagues, And then there's other days it's like just so magical. It's like, it's like, it's just, you'll see a sunset dropping over the Hudson, or you'll be up on top of a rooftop or a tower, and you'll see an amazing view. and you're just like, oh my gosh, this
Well,
place
and not only
is-
that, and you're exposed to every single culture and religion, basically almost in the entirety of the world.
Yeah.
You know, they're all there on the train with you, no matter what their salary is or their point of view or
Right.
the God they worship. They're all there next to you.
Right.
And they can care less about what you speak, how you operate, what you're wearing. They just know that you're just a human being trying to live their life at the fullest. If you're non-gender, trans, it's just such a freeing place to me personally. And I have seen, or I've been a part of more altercations and violence and questionable experiences in Miami than in New York, tenfold, which is very, very ironic.
I think what happens in other cities is that there's a critical mass and a majority of some ethnicity or culture, and that's the dominant culture,
Sure.
right? I have a theory that white people don't come to Miami because they inherently prefer to live in white-dominated cultures. And, you know, so if you go to like
Perhaps, yeah.
Charleston or North Carolina or you know, just Texas, Dallas, whatever.
Sure.
It's those are like white-dominated cultures where I think, you know, when Caucasians come to Miami, it's a little intimidating because it's like heavily Latino.
Yeah, and you have to handle the language gap, right?
That's another thing.
Yeah,
too.
and it's heavily Latino, and it's because we're so close to the rest of South America.
Totally.
I think it's really intriguing that you're touching about where white people live and what is their dominant sort of area. I'm a theater actress, right? But I started really taking theater seriously only about 5 years ago. And I was on tour with the Gloria Estefan musical, On Your Feet. I played Gloria Estefan's mother, Gloria Fajardo. We did over almost, I think, 100 or 120 shows in 4 months. And, you know, I've worked mostly in the Latino industry when I'm in Miami. I have toured for Ricardo Montaner and Orishas and Beatriz Lengua, these are stadiums of 20,000 people in Argentina and Mexico. So I've been in very big sort of leagues in this industry, but mostly in the Latino industry. So when I started doing theater, it's in English. I mean, at the end of the day, I was born in America and it's a part of I'm a New Yorker.
Right.
And I didn't feel like I was a great, or even simply said, a good actor till a white person told me so.
Really?
And I thought I remember that moment clearly. Like I was in this gorgeous musical called Indecent in St. Petersburg, Florida. And it was my first straight play, which a straight play is a non-musical.
Right.
And it was actually a play with music, which means there are no dancers. And there was about 3 or 4 songs in the whole. There was a live band. But it was just about this gorgeous story about the first ever homosexual kiss on Broadway. True story. And it was 2 women. And the whole cast was arrested for indecent exposure on opening night in the 1920s on Broadway.
Yeah.
And
there were a lot of interesting things that happened in theater from the late 20s until the mid 40s.
But in New York on opening night, because these 2 women kissed, they were all arrested.
Right.
And so I was a part of this amazing story. But the point was I was the only Latina in the cast. And I walk in and we start rehearsal. And I remember this amazing actor. His name is Michael Raver. Shout out to Michael Raver. He's my kindred spirit. I walk in and I said a couple of lines and we were in the scene and he goes, God, she's good. And I was like, I'm finally good. Because a good white actor just told me I was.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that really means. I still have to uncover the layers of that. But also because in my Spanish experiences, or even On Your Feet, which is a hybrid, we don't celebrate each other as much. I'm very celebratory of other people. And even people have been suspicious, like, what's your agenda? None. I just like being people's cheerleaders. But we don't say, you know what, when you sang that song, you really gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
People like hold their compliments back. They don't want to really support one another. And so the fact that I walked in, I barely knew this individual and he wanted to already throw confetti at me, at my craft. I felt so seen and so grounded and so able to take more risks because I felt in a safe environment. And I was like, how strange. Now I finally feel like I'm a real actor.
Interesting. Well, I will say that the industry was heavily white dominated in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. You know,
sure. But even nowadays, you know, I walk into a casting and I am not Latino enough for Latino shows, perhaps, and I'm not white enough for white shows. So I'm in this beautiful and wonderful mix.
That's gotta be frustrating.
It is. But you know what? I surrender.
Yeah.
And I know I'm always going to be taken care of. And I do good work.
Yeah.
And I try to leave a good impression in anywhere I am. And you just got to keep one foot in front of the other.
Well, the casting world is weird. And, you know, and I've said this before, when I was in New York in casting, casting, I mean, I remember Brett Goldstein told me, and she's been a casting director for a million years in New York. She said, it looks like someone just plucked you off of Wall Street. And, and I, of course, I was in this audition wearing like a Burberry collared shirt, and I had my hair greased, and I looked like a finance bro, right? And so, and that, I mean, that was just my niche. That was my thing.
Well, you look like you can take care of people. You know, I'm still single, right? Just saying. Yeah.
No, but I mean, that was my thing in New York. And I got, cast a million times as like the yacht owner or the shipping magnate or the finance bro, Wolf of Wall Street stuff. So,
well, when you are not landing the roles you wish, then you create your own work, which is what I did with Between Coconuts and Concrete.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yeah,
I've had this conversation before too with a lot of people, and I think what's so important about that is it really shows the industry how to cast you.
Yeah.
And what you do, because the industry is so stupid. No, it's like dumb. It just wants to boil everyone down to just, okay, Latina, white guy, rich white guy, or, gangster black guy or whatever. Like, I mean, it's just dumb like that. So humans are so much more complex than that. And so when I released a short film that went to about 3 film festivals. This was about 8 years ago. And what I loved about that movie is that it showed me playing in the same movie the sweet, dutiful, loyal son and also this like white collar criminal at the same time.
Cool.
And I thought to myself, I wanted to just show my range of what I could do. And I remember that was the feedback I got from people. They were like, this was interesting because there was a big arc for that character. But I think it's so important to really kind of write your own work, show the industry what you do. Sure. And then also, like, no one can cast you as well as you.
Yeah. I mean, my one-woman show, Between Coconuts and Concrete, I just did a workshop of it in February in New York, and there was about 50 people in the room. And, like, I'm a little goofy and vulgar and funny, and I have a lot of depth to me, but not in my vagina. And and I'm a serious, believe it or not, singer-songwriter. I'm very poetic in my writing, and so what my feedback from that was like, who could make me laugh, think, and also feel through music and comedy and depth. And it was like, that's my little trifecta. Because I'm not an amazing singer. I'm not an amazing anything.
I would say you're an amazing singer. No, I'm not an amazing singer. You are definitely an amazing singer.
But I am not amazing at anything. I didn't, one of the only regret in my life is not going to college. And so I don't feel fully equipped in anything. I don't feel like I'm gorgeous either. I feel like I passed the test.
College is like mega overrated.
We'll talk about that. But my point is that I have always felt that being goofy or comedic was necessary for me to be liked and to be seen as someone that you want to be around, because my other things they're not that strong. And so it was like a deflection. It was like a defense mechanism. I'm not that great of a singer or an actress, and I'm not college educated, and I come from poverty, and I'm not that hot, but I'm at least funny, which is different for women.
Yeah.
And people always like, you should be a stand-up comic, but that's a whole different animal. Totally. Being goofy and funny personality, it's not the same talent as being able to write a tight 10 and dominate a room with your stories. And then you're not taken seriously as a singer-songwriter. Then you're not taken seriously as an actor. Yeah, I mean, so you write a one-woman show, and you can kind of put all of my tentacles as an octopus in there, and just live my truth with all the little things. Because I'm an actress, and like, oh, you should be a singer. And then I'm a singer, like, oh, you have an actress personality. Oh, wow, you're actually a really good writer more than anything. It's like, people are going to have opinions. Yeah. Do it all. Anyway, seasons of it. Totally.
So. And the comedy scene's a totally different beast.
Yo, what? That is nuts.
Well, I dabbled in that a little in New York. I did the UCB improv classes and all that stuff, and it just didn't resonate with me. First of all, I think that if you act on SNL, like, it'll destroy your acting.
Really?
I think it's terrible acting.
No way. Well, I mean, you're reading from cue cards. It's a different.
It's so gimmicky. Like, it's just so gimmicky.
I don't know if I agree, but I think it's intriguing.
I feel like if you did a year on SNL and then you tried to audition for theater in New York, they would laugh you out of the room. I think it would destroy you. Yeah.
I would love for you to interview someone that's been on SNL and talk about like work ethic and creativity and how that beast is mantled. And
sketch comedy, I think, is just a very, stylistically, it's a very different style of acting.
But most of the characters on SNL, I've always wanted to be on SNL. That was one of my first dreams. You have to write your own material. So you also have to be a creative in terms of like, you might not be the best actor, but you have to come up with the concepts.
The concept is
really... So
really...
it's a different kind of creative beast as an SNL performer.
Jim Breuer has a great autobiography about this topic. He wrote... Jim Breuer played Goat Boy in the 90s.
Okay.
That's an old reference for a lot of people, but...
hello, Gen X, Gen Z.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very old reference. But he worked with Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, Chris Farley, all like that. In my opinion, that's when SNL was like insanely good, insanely good.
Yeah, there was a vivacity. I mean, to those casts.
Like compared to what they have now. I'm like, this is dead.
Listen, I don't know. I got to give it to Marcel, the first Cuban Dominican guy on SNL. He's great.
He's awesome.
The women are so funny. All of the women on SNL right now are just killing it. So I'm a little biased.
It's okay. In my opinion, it's still nothing like the 90s or the 80s. I mean, they had they were beasts. They had total beasts back then. I mean, Chris Farley, my God, I mean, he's just on a whole other level. Will Ferrell on a total different level for sketch comedy. And so, but yeah, I mean, Jim Breuer in his book talks about how when Will Ferrell came on this show, he was pumping out just hit after hit after hit after hit. I mean, it was just insane. Also, he talked a lot about how cast members would steal each other's material. Which, I mean, that's...
Yikes on bikes.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, that's such a pressurized environment that I think that's a very common thing to happen there. But no, I mean, I think it's SNL obviously is a massive institution over time, but...
I think I'm oblivious, right? I can't speak on what it is to live in that world.
Right.
But it must build such an amazing work ethic, right? Because it's so demanding. And then you're exposed to all these like high clientele and celebrities and different, and trying to make all of the hosts feel at home so they can perform at their best.
Yeah, you got to write things for them.
So I think it's also like such a school in terms of how to operate around people and how to make people feel welcomed and comfortable. And so I think it's an amazing school of life. And I hope to be able to host one day. That would be like such a dream come true.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, your hair
my hair alone should be on SNL.
Yeah, exactly. Your hair has its own role.
Yeah. I would love it.
No, totally. I think that I think it'd be cool. I mean, let me ask you this: what in you do a lot of different things. You're a singer, writer, actress. You can do comedy. Obviously, you've done reality, but that's more of an asterisk on the resume.
Sure.
What would be your dream role? Or your dream medium?
Oh gosh, that's hard. I don't have favorites when it comes to music or films or actors or mediums.
Let me back this up and I'll make this easy for you. How about just musical theater?
Musical theater in and of itself, there's so many amazing roles. I adore the musical Hadestown. Moulin Rouge is another epic sort of story.
I can see you doing that.
Yeah, Persephone in Hadestown is something. Hamilton is just its own animal as well.
I would love to play King George in Hamilton.
You would be great. You would be great.
I would crush King George.
Yeah. But those roles are great, but I love originating something. It's great to emulate and learn from people that have done it previously and the content, but then to bring your own thing, to originate a role must be amazing. But right now we're trying to focus on Between Coconuts and Concrete, the one-woman show, and there are all these hopeful ideas, like how about making it into a screenplay? How about being another Fleabag, where it was a one-woman show turned into 2 or 3 seasons on Amazon Prime, and how about following following that vein. My mother, a Las Vegas showgirl, my dad, a flamenco Carnegie Hall guitar player, and they had
flamenco guitar player. Did he live in Spain ever?
Yeah, he lived in Ibiza.
Nice.
And my father is Lebanese, Cuban, Spaniard.
Yeah.
And he played Carnegie Hall. Like, get out of town.
No, that's super cool. And I remember I spent a summer in Spain and went to Sevilla and watched the real deal flamenco.
Sure. Flamenco is a huge part of my life.
So cool.
Such a big part of my life.
So cool.
And then my mom is a Cuban modern dancer and Las Vegas showgirl who turned into a singer. She was dating Julio Iglesias, which is Enrique Iglesias' father.
Yes, of course.
She dated a lot of famous people, and then she met my dad. Wrong. Like, what'd you do, bro? And then they had 10...
He scored big time.
Yo, speaking about my dad, I'm a daddy's girl. I'm an only child, and so
so am I. It's an unusual curse.
But saying that he scored big time, right? So I'm single. I'm 40, and I think I'm a lovely.
This is an Amber Alert to all the guys out there.
I usually date young, but I think I'm an amazing human being, ready for the picking, like I'm saying. But my dad today, when he knew I was coming to this podcast, and when I'm in Miami, I spend time with them a lot.
He said, "Please announce that you're single."
Not only that, but he was like, "Man, I don't know what's wrong with men, because if I saw you on the street, I wouldn't let you go." And I was like, I love being sexually objectified by my father. He's like, "Hey, you're a copy of the OG, the one I wanted. So there's no doubt, like, you'd be up there as well." I'm like, I love being objectified by my father. The only man that wants and loves me and wants to keep me is, I used to live in his left testicle. I was the sperm that won. Yeah. And so my romance with my dad is great, but their story, they were together for 10 years till I came around.
Yeah.
And they went through, fame, fortune. They were in Japan for 6 months on tour. They had so much money, a recording contract.
That's cool. I mean, that is like...
They sold drugs. They went to jail. They went to rehab.
Back up. They sold drugs and went to jail.
Yes, they were part of the whole Miami cow cone. I love it. Cocaine cowboy world.
We've had one of those here before.
Yeah, and then, they the story is like they got a mattress, they put it in the kitchen, they had sex for 10 days and she got pregnant. Like, it was like their goal. Like, we're getting pregnant. We're going like kitchen to the mattress, mattress in the bathroom, repeat. Kitchen to the mattress, mattress in the bathroom, repeat. And so here I am. Ding, 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 ding. People are like, how do you...
You're a kitchen mattress baby.
That's a new one. I'm a kitchen mattress baby. And they're like, how are you so energetic? I am so certain that the cocaine in my mother's blood system was so natural and great in the 80s that I am just like naturally
wired for the rest of your life.
I've never been high before in my life. I can count the numbers of times that I've been drunk. But their story alone is because they're still together 50 years later, and they've gone through the gamut of things that a relationship could go through.
Sure.
And then my own story of dealing with drug addict parents and having a lot of love, but a lot of abuse, and going to 5-6 different high schools and living this. I mean, at 19, I was the main singer of a Mediterranean cruise ship, and I've been on tour, and I've been a radio morning show host and a singer and an actor, and I still haven't really gotten there, wherever there is, but I lived with a lot of joy and I've learned a lot.
Yeah,
and
that's a really hard thing to define.
That's why there's a show.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to define in the industry, is what is making it mean.
What is making it mean?
And look, I whenever someone tells me that I'm a failed actor, I've heard it a few times. Which
really?
I just laugh. I laugh so hard when someone says that to me.
Failed actor, what is that?
I think that's so funny because they mean it as an insult, and I just die laughing. And I think it doesn't affect me at all because I think it's so funny.
I don't think there is such a thing if you actually are an actor.
Well, think of it this way.
Because you're just a storyteller.
Totally. But think of it this way. I mean, it's like this. If you worked at Ford Corporation, are you only successful if you're the CEO of the company? Like,
Alex, you should do a podcast and talk about these kind of things.
Good idea.
That's great. That's a great analogy.
Yeah. Are you only successful if you're the CEO of the company? No.
Wow.
There's lots of successful...
I am taking that with me.
No, I mean, there's lots of successful people in the company who have done well, who have big careers. And not everyone's going to be Leo DiCaprio. Like, that's okay.
The biggest success story of anyone in their life is how much joy do they operate with on a daily basis.
Well, look, you got to do
success.
Yeah, you got to do what you want to do. I mean, and look, all through my 20s, spent lots of time in the corporate world doing corporate sales. I'm very good at software sales. And I worked at PR agencies as well. And I just was like, is this really all life is? And I started acting when I was around 25, and I had done theater in high school too, but and I started doing shows at night. I did like 3 community theater shows, and I started moving into professional work in DC, and then I moved up to New York, then went to training for like 3 years in New York. And I mean, and I think the artist's path evolves over time for everyone. Mm-hmm. It kind of comes, it goes. Right. You have a love-hate relationship with it. I got really sick of TV auditions. Like, I hit the wall on TV auditions. I was like, if I have to do like one more TV audition, I'm going to die. And TV for me really sucked the life out of the joy for me. Now that said, I mean, I much prefer theater work, screenwriting. I freelanced with Jordan Peele's studio for quite a bit.
Very cool. My bank prefers TV jobs, but I understand.
No, I mean that's every actor thinks that way, and every agent thinks that way. They're like, we got to get you into TV work.
There's some good TV now, especially streaming. There's some really good work happening.
Yeah, no, totally.
Good storytelling.
No, totally. I mean, but it just looks different for everyone, and there's really no, and look, you really just have to do what you want to do, and if you're gonna like just die sitting at a desk job being an accountant, then don't do it. Yeah. 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 I mean, that's just the reality. So talk to me. You've talked about coconuts and concrete.
Between coconuts and concrete.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about I know this is kind of your baby, your special project.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know we were going to get a llama, but okay.
Oh my
God. Anyway, so what was the inspiration for all that?
The inspiration comes from basically not being hired for a while.
Okay. That's always a good reason to write something.
Yeah, like I gotta write. I think one of my many careers as a child, the hopeful careers, was to be a writer. Yeah. And my story and my parents' story is just so unique and beautiful and inspiring. And I never wanted to vilify anyone with an addiction. I'm not a victim of any kind. It's about like seeing everyone in their most simple humanity and offering tenderness and kindness. But I wasn't hired for a minute. And anytime I spoke about my parents or my story, like, man, this is a story, bro. Like, you should do something about this. And so I just started talking about it. And I used to talk about it in a way as of like, I have an idea and I'm a creative, but I never wrote any pages. I have this idea between coconuts and concrete. I was doing this course. You've probably heard about it, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Yep. And it's like a, 16-week or 12-week sort of workbook. Right. And all of a sudden I got this straight download walking off a train between coconuts and concrete. Just the title. I was like, what is that? And coconuts being Miami, concrete being New York. And I've always been between both worlds. Yeah. And I just started writing until fast forward, I was doing my thing where I was pretending that I had a project, but I don't have a project. Oh, I have this idea of a one-woman show. My parent is this and that. Yeah. And then I talked to a really good friend of mine and his partner, and we were sitting at a bar, and they're like, I want some pages. And I was like, I don't have any. I've been talking about this for like years. And they're like, oh, well, next week, give me some pages. Yeah. And so I started writing.
That's a great motivator.
Yeah. I started writing, and fast forward, I wrote 60, 70 pages in 6-7 hours between my most memorable, the memories of childhood and what I know of my parents until now. Now being up until 25. And in the last 2 years, we finally formatted it into this amazing sort of one-woman show with music, original music. And there's like all these, I have a piano player. His name is Nico Benson. And he has musically directed every chapter with like a hit song from that year. And there's all these beautiful soundscapes. And it's a very comical, very wild ride of my childhood and my parents' sort of beginnings. And
do we get to hear about the kitchen and the mattress?
Yes, a little bit. You get to hear about how I was made. Okay. Yeah. And there's a lot of great stories. Yeah. Great. I'm excited. And so, we're going to have so far we have its first regional premiere next year in Sarasota. Oh, amazing. So we're working hard for the money. We can't wait. Yeah. We're so excited.
Great. And I guess, is this going to be premiered through a regional theater?
Yeah, it's we're looking right now with Sarasota Jewish Theater. They're looking at another black box property in terms of when we're going to do it, but it's sometime next year. We're doing the second half workshop in the fall. It's with New York Theater Barn, and Joe Barros is my director, and I'm just so excited. We just did the first half workshop, which is my parents' story up until I was a freshman in high school, and it was great. We had like a lot of Arabic and Cuban food, and I want to make it really interactive. Where like I bless everyone with agua florida, which is a very Cuban thing, and I want chicken sounds and ambulance sounds. You gotta have the gallos. Depending where I'm talking about, like you have to have the soundscape and smells and throwing free condoms at people. I don't know. I want to make it an experience.
I've noticed that like the gallo, the rooster is like the mascot of Miami. It's that and the peacocks.
Yeah, they're all like, renegades from all the witchcraft people that they have in Miami. Oh, they're just like running away from being killed. Is that what you think it is? Yeah. First of all, they're all drinking Cuban coffee. So first, all the gallos and all the chickens are because they're on Cuban coffee. And number two, they're all like running away from the Santero so they don't get killed and like sacrificed on the railroad tracks. So they're all refugees. They're all like, don't catch me, don't catch me, don't catch me.
I never even thought of that. When I first moved here, I was in an Airbnb for like 3 months, and every morning there was a peacock and they're very good at jumping, by the way. They can jump like entire floors. And so this thing like jumps up onto the ledge of right outside my window, and it sounds like a cat. And I look out the window, it's this giant peacock, and I'm just like, wow, this is something different.
Yeah. The only one with the tails are the males.
Yeah. No, I mean, they have a whole personality. That's interesting. I didn't realize they were running away from the witches.
They're just running away from the witches.
If you see a lot of like roosters and peacocks, that there's like witches nearby?
I don't know about the peacocks. I don't know what witches do with peacocks, but it's just a joke. Especially in Little Havana, there's so many of them, which is like the diaspora of Cuba is also very much in Little Havana. So they're just like trying to get away.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Wow, I never even put that together.
Viste, mi amigo, viste.
This is why you're here.
Gotta go.
Teach me about Miami. Super interesting. Mm-hmm. So what else is coming up for you in terms? So you have this show premiering at Sarasota Jewish Theater
next year. And we have workshops coming up. I just finished 4 months in Sarasota. The west coast of Florida loves me. I just finished doing 2 plays called Lost in Yonkers and then Bad Jews, back to back. Amazing characters, both lead characters, Bella for Lost in Yonkers and Daphne for Bad Jews. And now we are getting ready to do a podcast with Alex Witherow right now. That's what I got coming up. Yeah. And I'm heading back to New York. I'm really looking forward to finding a civilian job for a little while, 3 to 6 months, and just like grounding myself into buying shampoo and deodorant.
You need
the one that I want that is overpriced. I'm
going to give you like 3 bottles of shampoo before you leave.
And I just really want to know what it feels like to just be like stable and grounded for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a foreign feeling to most artists.
It is. I've been leaving my entire life. I've been on tour, and I'm so lucky. I've been on cruise ships, on tour as a backup singer, in regional contracts throughout On Your Feet and Indecent and all these plays. And I'm so looking forward to, Alex. I'm so looking forward to, ladies and gentlemen, to go to Whole Foods, buy the orchid, come home and make dinner for my husband and myself, have a dog, maybe do some fellatio under the table while I make him a sandwich, and then get ready for my Broadway show.
And throw the mattress on the kitchen floor.
Yeah, no, I'll be
you got to do it the same way.
I'll be making love anywhere you want, baby. At this point, I'll take it wherever you want. The fire hydrant, let's go. But I am so looking forward to that small life.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to be in love and share life and fries with someone.
Yeah.
And have enough money to buy orchids.
Right.
And have a theater job or a TV job and create with my partner. And I'm so looking forward to that.
Cool,
and
very
so
cool.
that's what's next for me. Like life.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I mean, this is always a very tough question and a tough balance for artists is I think there's always this pull of wanting the normal white picket fence life with wife, kids, husband, whatever, and having a stable job. But then like you get into that for a little and you're like, okay, now I'm ready to do the artist thing again. There's kind of a back and forth. I mean, that's been my experience. And there's always, a battle between these two, these competing desires of stability versus, living out your actual passion and desire.
I hear you.
How do you balance all of that?
I believe that you can have it all. And I believe we live in a world of and not or. And that is sort of my ethos, and there are so many people, if you really, your brain likes to look for things to prove you right. You have to be careful about that.
Yeah, confirmation bias.
Exactly. Yeah. So then I look a lot for actors or artists that are married and have children, even if they're on their second or third marriage with their home and still creating. Yeah. And so that is my sort of compass. Like, look, it does exist. And so many times I have found myself in conversations like, well, do you want to be a creator, an artist, or do you want to have a husband? And I was like, I can have both.
Yeah.
And I really believe you can. Just because it hasn't happened to me yet does not mean that it's not out there.
Yeah.
And I'm not like complaining or what's wrong with men or like I'm the main, like I just know that it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. Totally. And I have a lot of faith in it, but I just one foot at a time, what's meant for me will not pass me by.
Yeah,
I really believe that I was built and I was born with the purpose of being a storyteller.
No, totally. You're just hearing your personality.
Oh, thanks. But like,
I can tell you that.
Just there's this great quote that I saw the other day where people don't come to the theater to see you; they come to see themselves.
Totally.
And I was like, it sounds like all frou-frou, but being a theater artist for me is such a service to society because you're reminding people about what matters in life, or you're creating an escape from the hard realities of life.
Well, I love it. The word theater in Greek actually means the seen place. It reflects back to humans who they are.
It's so important to me.
I mean, there's the biggest thing I miss about New York is having season tickets to Broadway.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was life-changing.
There's good theater in Miami coming up, man. They don't hire me, so I'm not going to tell their names. But there's really good theater. There's good work happening. There's a lot of good actors here. And it's very seldom that they get lead roles because Miami still believes that lead roles should be coming from New York and not giving that platform to a lot in I mean, that's
lame.
Yeah, isn't it? There's a couple now in Miami that are really getting seen, and I'm so happy for them. But in the meantime, you just got to trust your co-stars. You got to trust the people here. They want to do good work and offer them the opportunity to do so.
You just said that you are, obviously you desire to have a marriage. And
don't you, Alex?
No, I mean, yes, I do.
I mean, how did I meet you?
Yeah,
we met on a dating app.
Man, busted.
We met on a dating app, but we both lived, every time we've connected, we lived in two different states.
That's true.
So we've surrendered to the fact that we get along and we're great friends. And we've met up 3 or 4 times and had a couple of conversations. And we know that there is an admiration and respect here. You
actually convinced me to live in downtown Miami.
Yeah,
It was you that convinced me to live not on the beach.
I was like, what's this tall drink of water doing on Hinge?
Hey-o.
Hey! And when we were just talking about when I walked in, like dating is such a strange sort of platform at the moment.
Right.
Or the last couple of years. I want to ask you, how has dating been for you in Miami?
Everyone thinks that when you're 6'5", that it's just easy peasy. But I would tell you it's not quite that simple.
I'd like to hear what has been your most... your best experiences, or what has really opened you up in terms of Miami dating?
Oh boy, putting me on the spot here.
I'd love to know.
I would say, so in general, I have really enjoyed the women of South Florida. A lot of people say, oh, they're so fake, they're so, this, that. And like there is that here.
Stereotypes exist.
Yeah, you can certainly find that. If I meet somebody who kind of gives that vibe of I'm only going to date millionaires, then I'm kind of like, okay, moving along. And I don't really want anyone like that. But what I would say is obviously there's a lot of Latin women here. I think that from what I can tell is that I think that most Latin women come from a more traditional culture from South America. And I like that a lot about Latin women. So I think, overall, I've had a pretty positive experience. I just think that the challenge here is that there's so many shiny objects, and everyone's like squirrel, 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 squirrel. So
That's very funny.
yeah,
I say the same thing about New York, though.
New York has the same problem for sure.
I mean, I know that the women are cut from a different cloth in terms of the
yeah.
generalization of Miami and New York, but I feel like New York, like every time you just walk down the street, you just had sex in your head 5 times with the dog, the guy, the neighbor, and the girl. Like,
the
like
dog.
I don't know. People have, moments. Bestiality is a thing, but there's just there's always so many options, right? But
Yeah.
Miami is particularly such a specific way of dating.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a Miami thing. I don't think it's a New York thing. I think in general, just the culture in the U.S., especially with city culture, because I've lived in 6 different U.S. cities.
Nice.
I know how people always say, "Oh, Miami dating's so tough."
Yeah.
I'm like, it's
dating
not.
is tough in general.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not in Miami. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
This is like an American problem.
Yeah.
Because it's tough in New York. It's tough I've done it a little in LA. I've done it a little in Atlanta, DC. Like, I know how this goes in most of these cities. I would say in the last 5 years, it feels like it's gotten a lot harder.
I wonder why that is. I'm wondering if it has to do with pride, ego. I'm wondering if it has to do with just, like you said, the availability and the options. You think there's always going to be something better?
Yeah, I think
I don't know what it is, but I can agree with you that it's a little more textured.
Yeah.
And the older we get, right, people get more hard-headed about their way of life and their vision of what life is supposed to look like.
Right.
And so they're less lenient to someone else coming into their life to create a new path.
Yes, that definitely happens as you get older. People are just like, this is what I want, and if you don't go along with it, then...
Right. And I've learned recently about attachment theory.
That's interesting.
Dismissive avoidant,
Yep.
fearful avoidant, anxious attachment, and secure. That's been a very, my last...
I read that book. Like 2 months ago, I read that.
Well, my last relationship was just like the sort of compass of finding out my attachment theory.
I would guess you're more on the anxious side.
Yeah, I'm a little anxious.
Yeah.
I'm a little anxious.
What gave
Not
it
so
away?
much. I wonder. Please love me. I love you. I want to be your queen. I'm a little, but
That confirmed it.
yeah. But you just love nurturing people.
Sure.
And we're always repeating stories from our parental figures.
Totally. And that's really...
If you don't go to therapy, you're screwed.
Well, I think that you have to, you're really, when you're dating someone, you're competing with their childhood, and you're competing with how they grew up. And if there is, what I think happens is that if you don't fall in line with energetically and with the bandwidth of what they experienced in their childhood, they're not gonna like vie with you as an adult. Mm-hmm. So, what you're used to in childhood is what you're going to seek out as an adult. Now,
unconsciously, but you have to ground yourself and become aware. Absolutely. I think also there's a lot of impulsiveness because we live in a fast food culture. Everything is now. So people are quick to be angry or quick to dismiss you or quick to ghost you without feeling that my actions could affect someone. And I think people will change their mind on you. Rejection.
It happens so fast.
But there are definitely ways that we can communicate in a kinder way. Don't break up with me through text. Give me a phone call and be like, you know what? I thought dating an older woman was great, but I just realized that it's something that I'm uncomfortable with. No, but I date. Listen, my boyfriends are getting so young that the next one I'm dropping off at the swing with a lunchbox. Because I've got 13 years younger than me trying to take me out on a date. I'm like, sir, I have 7 eggs left. I need to be pregnant in the next 3 years. I have twins in my family. My sperm is strong. I'm like, no.
That's a nice pitch. I like that.
Great, but let me put you back on the swing and push you. They're getting younger and younger.
I hung out with a 27-year-old recently, and I thought to myself, this guy is young. This is young. Yeah. Well, it's amazing how much happens as a guy between 27 and 40.
But just communicate. At the end of the day, let's just communicate a little bit better. A little bit.
Yeah. No, I think also everyone is just overloaded on dopamine hits. I think that,
which translates to,
well, if you're on social media all the time, you're always getting these dopamine hits. So dating in the real world is gonna feel a little boring compared to all the freaking dopamine hits we get all the time. Yeah. So I think that's part of it. I think a lot of times someone may go on 2 or 3 dates with someone and they think, I on paper this feels fine, but this feels like not exciting or the chemistry's not right. And I actually think that's like a dopamine issue. Like I think I think we need like a whole month where everyone like just gets off social media, resets our nervous system, and then I think like actually interesting things would happen in the world.
That's what I do that every year from Thanksgiving to New Year's.
Yeah.
I get off all social media and I am hyper present, reflecting on my year past, reflecting on the year to come, and what's in front of me right now. You know, I think it's just really important. You know?
No, totally. And I mean, look, like, the birth rate in this country is plummeting right now. We are actually, I think
What are you doing after the podcast?
Well, there's a mattress on my kitchen floor.
Hey, nice connection.
No, but I think in 15 years we're gonna have a real population crisis in this country because like nobody's having kids.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm so old school. Like I usually don't enter into intercourse until I'm in a relationship.
Right,
you know,
right.
I don't do situationships. If I'm going on a date with someone and there's a date too, I'm not dating someone else.
Right.
And I'm not like you should be exclusive too. Like I could never be in an orgy. I can only pay attention to one thing at a time. Like no, like what is all this distraction? No, let's hone in.
Yeah.
Plus, and what's mine is mine. Don't touch what's mine.
Yeah.
And so, but I think also in the same vein that we're so distracted all the time, but like we can slow down.
Totally.
Everything is so fast.
Totally.
And yeah, sex is important and we love to have sex, but it also like messes with your bonding and you might not even be aligned with the lifestyle, but like the sex is great. So then you stick around because you feel good.
Right.
I'm like, well, can we hold on?
Yeah,
but you know, you can know everything about a kiss. Once the kiss goes wrong, forget about it.
Yeah.
The rest of the apparatus is not going to work for you. That's it.
Thanks, friend.
But I have had, what do you call that? False advertisements where they kissed really well and the sex was bad. I was like, whoa, that was new. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Yeah, no, I mean it's an interesting time in dating, and I think I for a while my mom was like, dude, like what is the issue here? And much like your dad was like, what is the issue?
Yeah.
And I think my mom understands now, and I think there's like so much messaging going out to men and women that is just weird and bad, and women are kind of getting pushed into their careers, into the whole boss babe culture. Men, this whole like red pill thing is taking off. I don't like it. I think it's a.
But men also want to feel needed.
Totally.
And
but
women
I
are in
think,
this thing that I don't need you.
Yeah.
But we need each other, or relationships in general. Like even like if you're gay, like there needs to be a sense of like I do need you. You bring so much this to my life.
Yeah.
Whatever
absolutely.
this is.
Partnership, I think is. I mean, look, like I have
teammates.
Yeah.
People forget about teammates.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Pay for everything.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I need to be taken care of if you're going to take me out on a trip. What is that?
Yeah.
Perhaps if you're married or down the line, but like teammates, if you're going to take me out, can I get you a coffee on the way out? Can we go to a dessert place and I got it?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right or wrong, but like partnership, teammates.
No, totally. And there's this transactional mindset is pervasive now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you do this and I'll do this. And then you do this and I'll do this. And the problem with that is that sword cuts both ways.
Sure.
So, and as a woman, I have this conversation a lot with younger female friends of mine, and I'm like, you can play that game when you're young, but if you're a 50-year-old woman, you're going to get traded out if you're going to play that game. If you set up that dynamic early, then that sword cuts both ways. And so
I want a sword to cut me both ways.
Yeah, you do.
Hello.
So yeah, I mean, I think that, but it's challenging, and I think like across the board, everyone's struggling with this.
Sure. I mean, a lot of things that are happening now in the dating world that I wanted to touch upon were the open relationships. Nothing against it, but it is such a norm now where I will go on a date with a man, and on date 2 or probably even date 1.
Can I add you to my roster?
No, like I'm down for being monogamous with you for a year and we can build a relationship, but I would like to bring someone in sexually ever so often.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, but it's such a normal conversation. And I am actually really all about people knowing what they want.
Right.
But I'm also like, listen, I could find you a girl that's into that, but that's not me.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that, can you please tell me your stories? Like my last attempt at a threesome was at my gynecologist's office while the 3rd-year med student that was shadowing doing, my gyno was like, she was teaching him how to put the pap smear in. And I looked at them, I go, this is the best threesome I've ever had. You know? And like that was like the content of my threesome at the gyno. Like she was teaching him how to feel for fibers in our breasts. And I was like, hey kid, which one's bigger? The left one or the right one? Which one you got? That's my sexual experience with men and women.
Yeah. No, I mean it's just it's an interesting time. It's challenging.
But you got to keep hope. You can't be complaining. Totally. You can't be generalizing. You can't be victim. All men are trash. All women are hookers. That is not going to be useful to where you're heading and what you're asking for.
If you're thinking in a negative way,
energetic, like you said.
You'll start attracting that.
Yeah. Cool.
But no, totally. I mean, I think it's I don't know. I mean, we're kind of in this brave new world with all the technology and how there's a lot of unintended consequences with all this stuff. And it's challenging. It's very challenging. But, you know, to your point, I am hopeful.
I believe in you, Alex. I can't wait to see what kind of woman comes up from the Miami, South Florida world and the season of Alex Witherow.
Wow.
I can't wait to meet her. She'll be like Juana Maria Witherow. That'll be interesting.
That's about right.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, well, Jo, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome so much.
We've had such a great time today. Yes. Thank you for bringing all 10 of your personalities.
All of them. Josephine Phoenix here, just putting everything on fire and flying away.
Yeah, it's been a great time.
Maybe that's why I'm single. There's like 10 different women in one. I can't keep up. Sounds like a plan.
Anyway, so we will include all your information in the description of this video, and everyone can find your website.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Okay, bye. I'll buy you a coffee.
Thank you so much.
Ciao.